In Mother Russia, taxi drivers do not accept payment in kind. 2 Russian taxi drivers have reportedly been fired after they forced 2 women to smear a green antiseptic dye on their faces as punishment for not paying their fare. This video of the incident has gone viral in Russia, where the green dye, known as Zelyonka, has a pretty interesting backstory. It all went down in the city of Khabarovsk in Russia's far east, when, according to the reports, the women didn't have enough money to pay for their ride. The taxi driver called in the heavies, and they forced the women to green up like the Hulk. In recent years, the dye, known as brilliant green, has been used against political opponents of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The green solution is a topical antiseptic that's great at treating wounds, but takes days to remove from the skin, as these Russian politicians who dared to speak out against Putin can confirm. The Russian state has never prosecuted anybody for attacking opposition politicians with brilliant green. Some say that's a sign of tacit government approval for the so far anonymous attackers. So maybe these taxi drivers are Putin fans and thought they'd get away with forcing the 2 women to go green. But seems their employers didn't agree, though. Keep your eyes on the road, kid. Drunk gets busted after live streaming his whiskey-fueled police chase. This whiskey-chugging driver is one Ryan Michael Stiles from Pinellas Park, Florida. And here, he's at the end of a police chase come joyride that he streamed on Facebook Live. Last Thursday, Stiles thought it was wise to go full GTA and tear up Clearwater Beach on Kalidesi Island. And don't just take our word for it, Stiles says it himself.
Come on, I told y'all this GTA, bro! Oh yeah, you want...
Local cops say he's facing a laundry list of charges for putting so many lives in danger during his liquor-fueled joyride. Stiles reportedly destroyed some deck chairs and some other beach gear, but thankfully no one was injured during the chase. His mother, named Windy Hazard, says he was on meds as a kid to control his behavior, and she's hoping jail will help sort her son out. Stiles streamed himself for about 5 minutes during the chase, but it all came to an end when cops reportedly blew out his tires and his car gave up the ghost. You'd think that's where it ends, but unfortunately not. After being confined to a holding cell, the cops say Stiles took off his belt and did this to the glass. According to the Tampa Bay Times, he also said he wanted to lure officers into a trap. And to make matters worse for himself, during his bail hearing, he reportedly made a slitting motion across his throat. Therefore, Stiles is being held without bail on many charges. Crazed Uber driver stabs passenger for tapping on his window. This is Uber driver Jacob Matthew Alleman. He was picking up a couple from a holiday party in Bloomfield, Michigan this past weekend. The man tapped on Alleman's window, an action that reportedly angered the 23-year-old driver. Police say Alleman felt the man disrespected his car by tapping, so he pulled into a parking lot and told the couple to get out. They asked if they could wait for another ride since there was a snowstorm on, but then Alleman started fighting the man. Alleman stabbed the man 5 times in his face, chest, and neck. But amazingly, the 49-year-old victim managed to disarm and restrain the driver until a nearby police officer arrived. The victim was treated at the hospital and released the following day. Alleman, meanwhile, was charged with assault and is being held on a $250,000 bond. Uber banned Alleman from the ride-hailing app and said the incident was appalling. Facebook livestream shows woman's last seconds before deadly crash. A Czech woman live-streamed what appeared to be a fun road trip with a friend, not knowing she was actually capturing the final few moments of her life. The video shows Nicole Barabasova in the passenger seat and a female friend at the wheel. The pair is seen laughing and talking into the camera as their Volkswagen cruises down a highway, reportedly at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. Seconds later, Barabasova looks ahead and suddenly lets out a small yelp. The yelp turns into an alarmed scream as the car hits a barrier and flips over. The camera falls but continues recording, though all that can be seen is a seatbelt. It's eerily silent for the next few seconds, until a man is heard calling out in a panicked voice. Emergency services arrived 20 minutes later and turned off the live stream. Barabasova was reportedly killed in the crash. Her pal survived, but is still in intensive care with a serious head injury. What happened to the 2 ladies was no doubt a horrific accident, but focusing more on the road and less on everything else is always a good rule when driving. Maserati salesman killed in car crash after live streaming his joyride. This is Maserati car salesman Brandon Guy Giannopoulos from Denver, Colorado. Over the weekend, Giannopoulos was killed in a suspected high-speed car crash in Highlands Ranch after a video of him joyriding was streamed live to his Facebook account. At work, Giannopoulos had access to a slew of high-end Maserati vehicles, and boy do they go fast. On Friday night, he took one of his dealership's vehicles out for a spin. That same night, this soundless video was streamed on Facebook Live to Giannopoulos' account. In it, a Maserati speed dial is seen going from 0 to 111 miles per hour in the space of around 20 seconds. It's unknown if the video factored into the accident, but the cops say reckless speeding certainly did. At some point on Friday night, it's believed the car crashed while Giannopoulos was driving dangerously fast. The following morning, the vehicle wreckage was spotted in a retention pond, not far from the dealership. Giannopoulos was found dead inside. He was 24 years old and had just started working for the dealership in October.
Sleazy Uber driver demands passenger flash chest or give oral for ride. A woman in Toronto has put Uber on blast after she was aggressively sexually harassed by a driver who tried to strike an indecent proposal. On October 16th, 28-year-old Erica Szabo called for an Uber cab as she was leaving an event downtown. When she got into the car, she realized her phone had just died. Worried her payment wouldn't go through, she informed the driver. The driver told Szabo that the ride would not get processed, but offered an alternative means of payment: perform oral sex or flash her breasts for him. Disgusted, she refused, but the driver seemed to think it was no big deal and kept on pressing for his twisted fantasy to come true. Szabo repeatedly asked for him to let her out of the car, but the man instead offered her a third option: he'd pay for a blowjob. Eventually, he took her back to her neighborhood and she got out of the car. Soon after, she plugged her phone in to find out the ride had indeed gone through. She contacted Uber customer service, who called to apologize and refunded her $12. The dirtbag has since been dropped by the ride service as a driver, but Szabo only found out through media reports. She took to Facebook to warn others of her frighteningly common story and has filed a sexual assault report with Toronto police.